I'm sharing with you in this video how to build self-trust when creating your desire and vision, how to really build more self-trust as you walk through your life. Because what I really believe is that a lot of people, they neglect how to move forward in their life, even when negative feelings of resistance and concern, and I don't know if I'm making the right choice kind of feelings come up. Like, oh, they don't know if they're making the right choice, and they're worried and they're concerned. Like, these types of things inevitably come up, and then when we don't see it coming, it leads to resistance. So I'm going to share with you in this video how to avoid these obstacles so that you can just build that self-trust faster, and as a result, be the person that you want to be faster, more efficiently. And so the first thing that I want to share with you in this video is to understand that self-trust really comes from consistent follow-through over and over with you being who you say you're going to be. That's all it really is. It's just consistent follow-through. So you make a decision to be somebody, and then consistently you align your actions with who you say you're going to be, even if you don't feel like it, even if you're concerned, even if you're scared, even if you don't know, even if you feel a little bit worried and a little bit of resistance and all these types of things. What you do is all those things, all chaos and all those things, are just more reasons to follow through with who you want to be anyway. All those things are just neutral experiences that you can just take as another reason to just take more action. And so that's a really powerful concept that I believe is going to help us to really be who we want to be. So this takes time. This is not going to happen in one day. This can take many days, many months, perhaps even many years. And I think that, I know it sounds strange to say it like that. It's like, well, why would you say like many months and years? That's a little weird. But to me, that's normal, because while you might be thinking a long term in the game, many people may be trying to get are going to try to get quick results within weeks, and then do that for many different plans over many years, never getting a result. Well, meanwhile, you just can be a committed person and making decisions and already seeing the results of your decisions, while many others are still contemplating which one is the best, which decision is the best. Meanwhile, you've already committed to many things in your life, and you're a person of integrity, and you just see what happens. So there's a lot of value, I think, to just seeing the results as you take action. And so the second thing that I want to share with you in this video is really to understand that if you don't trust yourself, a really powerful thing that you can do is just simply borrow it from someone who does trust that thing, someone who really does have more trust in you. So if someone who does have more trust in you, you really believe that, you really believe that they have more trust in a certain area. So maybe that person has a certain level of trust to make a certain level of finances in their life, a certain level of money. So you go reach out to this person and you ask them how they did it. And you might not trust yourself to make that level of income in your life, but you might trust that that person trusts themselves to make that level of income. So you can borrow that. You can borrow those ideas. You can borrow those skill sets. You can borrow, if that person is willing to give you access to their knowledge and wisdom, you should be looking for that. You should be willing to listen to that. You should be willing to be open to taking in all of that wisdom and knowledge and borrowing all of that trust that that person has that you do not have yet in that area of life that you desire to have a result. So borrowing trust from other people is powerful. So remember, you don't have to do things alone. You can do things with other people. I think a lot of people, including myself in my past, which I no longer believe that they have to do it alone. I don't think anything happens in life alone anymore, because the truth is that everything is connected in a very powerful way where you couldn't possibly do anything alone, even if you tried. Even if you tried to do something alone, you would still find yourself connected to people and other things and something around you in some type of way. You can't really be alone. It's not a possibility. Even the idea and concept to run away from humanity and be alone is a privileged idea that comes from the connectivity of the people that we have around us. And if you want to be alone, that's, I think, possible in many ways, but I think that it's easier to do it with people, if, to say the least. Possibly maybe you can do it alone in some ways, but remember that humans, I believe as well, are social creatures where we do need each other and we do need each other's support. And that is okay to admit that. And there's nothing wrong with that. And it's about communication and honoring everybody's needs to create a win-win scenario. That's what I truly believe. And so remember, borrowing skill sets, borrowing wisdom, borrowing ideas from other people, all these types of things are good things to do in order to build more self-trust. So the final thing that I want to share with you in this video is to understand that I really believe a powerful concept as well is not to take fear as a reason for inaction. Fear should never be a reason to not take action. In fact, I would flip it backwards and say that fear should be your reason to simply take action, to simply keep taking action, to keep going forward, to keep being the person that you want to be, to keep taking action and to keep being better, to continue on and take action, even if you feel concerned, even if you feel worried again, even if you feel resistance, even if you feel tired, even if you don't feel like it, even if you feel like, oh, maybe you shouldn't do it that day or whatever the case might be, you just do it anyway. You just do it simply. And so I think that that's what integrity is about. I think that discipline is about learning to just simply follow through, even regardless of any obstacle that might come up, simply because of your willingness to make a decision and to commit. To commit. Commitment and willingness has very little to do with fear and emotion. You might look at the most disciplined person and you might think, well, how are they so disciplined? How are they so disciplined? How can they be so disciplined? Are they maybe more fearless? Are they do they have less fear in their life than somebody else? It might be one way to look at that, but another way to look at it is that, in fact, it's not that they have less fear, it's that they have a higher level of willingness to take action even when they feel fear. Because you could have two people with the same level of fear, but yet one person has a higher level of willingness to take action even though he's just as scared. He's going to be able to get more results in his life because he has a higher level of willingness, again, just to take action, just because. Just more willingness. What do you really need to be more willing to take action? It doesn't require you to feel any different. It just requires you to have a capacity and the spaciousness to realize that you can make a decision to just take action regardless of your feeling. And reprogram yourself to be open to the possibility that then taking action can be the easier decision, whereas attaching to the feeling and overthinking and being in a state of stagnation is the harder decision. This is where we can start to program ourselves to understand that simply taking action can be the easier path, because we learn through action and we start to refine the process as we take action. Rather than thinking about which way is the best, we think about taking action and then seeing the result. Seeing the results of our labor. Seeing the results of how we're taking action in our